Hello, everybody out there. Hello, fellow star seeds. This is Psychic Empath Raven Willow. This is the YouTube channel name as well for all of you. And today we have a very special guest, and I'm going to let her introduce herself because she is a very big energy, just like me. She has a lot of things to do on this planet, just like me. So we're just going to get right into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, darling.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Merle Acton, and I've just been traveling the world, helping with the grid lines and healing planet Earth. Um, I've just been connecting different parts of our heart to the planet, and yeah, it's been a big process.
So she's kind of like me, you guys. I am part of healing the earth and relinking all the ley lines and relinking all the power spots on earth. And I pull in like ancient native spirits, healers, wisdom keepers, shamans, and anybody that's there from ancient times and, you know, bring them in to help heal the earth too. So unlike me, she gets to travel around the world and do it. So I have to actually astro project to different places that I'm supposed to go. So I just saw on, you have a lot of pictures. You were just in Egypt, but you were in some other places before that. So if it has to go like chronologically, then just back up and tell me where you want to start with it. But I know you've been in Egypt and Peru and different places. So tell us about
Um,
what you were doing there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, well, I'll go back to when I was at an event in Mexico. And from Mexico, I picked up kind of some planetary codes there that I needed to take to Peru. And when I got to,
Can you explain to everybody like what are these codes? What do they look like to you? What do they do? Just so people understand.
okay, well, when I was in Mexico, we were doing like healing that area with the dinosaurs.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like we heal our ancestors. And so it's like in my DNA. Like
Yeah.
my DNA is like healed from doing that activation there in Mexico. And so in my DNA, I would take it to, which guided me to go to Peru. And then Peru, it was like healing another piece of my DNA. And codes w would be like the Chicana, like the Peruvian cross.
Mhm.
It was like integrated into my DNA as being like it awakens. Like we all have these codes in us and we all have to go through processes to awaken. And I'm kind of like, I am the spark. That's what I call myself. Like I ignite people, like activate their DNA.
Mhm.
And so when I'm activating mine, then I can travel and go and activate other people's DNA as
Yeah.
I interact with them. So anyway, um, I did some more healing work there in Peru and was able to pick up some codes on the Inca Trail and then went to Machu Picchu. And codes that could be like just like light that comes in
Mhm.
with different geometry,
Yeah.
different shapes, patterns.
I know a lot about sacred geometry. I study that a
Yeah.
lot. So yeah.
And so then after that, I had gotten like a little vision of a pyramid with a star on top and like a hummingbird and the Orion, the Star of Orion. And for me, I know people probably like, what does that mean? But to me, my cells recognize these codes.
Yeah.
And then I knew I had to go to Egypt.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going to Egypt, and it was like in my DNA, I was like channeling Cairo. Like I was feeling like Cairo was coming through me. So I was expressing myself out loud how worthy Cairo was
Hmm.
of receiving abundance and water and all these beautiful things. And so it
Yeah.
was like a process to go through each step of being taking care of the heart, or how to heal the heart, how to take care of the heart, and then how to integrate the heart. And so it was just different locations. I went to Isis Temple and Hathor's Temple. And so it was just different locations there to connect with that part of Egypt,
Yeah.
which was really
And
beautiful.
when you, okay, babies are gonna start barking. Welcome
It's
to my
okay.
podcast. There are always animal noises. Um, so just so you guys know, when we talk about DNA codes, this is why I always say on my like social media channels why it's so important to get your Akashic records read, because you will know like there's something inherently in you that you know this information, you know these parts about you, you know all of the lives that you've lived throughout the universe, but you need to get the pieces of the puzzle put together. So it's like you already know it's there, but you some people don't know what it is, so you have to discover what it is, and that's why it's really important to get your Akashic records read and go through these DNA activations, because you're waking up those parts of yourself. So I have the same thing happen to me as what Merle goes through. And I inherently know these things about myself. And then I have to learn more about it and study it so that I make sure that I'm doing the things that the universe wants me to do to heal the earth. So, yeah. And
Exactly. And you're so
yeah,
amazing at it.
gosh, I try. I don't
You've
know if
helped
I'm
me so
amazing at it.
much.
And I was we were having a little conversation before we actually started recording, um where I live in Utah, which I will never tell anybody exactly where I live, but there's the
I only
huge,
know.
yeah, there's the huge Bonneville Salt Flats, which we have the Salt Lake too. But I had to go out there, and all of that salt is meant to be pushed back down into the earth, like ritualistically, and to fill all of the veins, any of like volcanic tunnels, any caves, any rivers, all of those things, to just push it back down into the earth to heal the earth and to protect the earth, because salt is protection. So anybody that's into witchcraft at all knows all about salt. So we don't need to get into salt. Anybody that's a witch has salt everywhere. So yeah. So that was one of the things that I had to do around Samhain time. So I did that, and like I get jealous of you because you actually get to travel all over the world, and like I choose to have animals because I'm very connected to animals. So that limits like the places that I can go and do, but that's a choice that I've made for my life. So, and when you were in Peru, that's really interesting to me because I have um, past lives as a universal being, and I know the exact portals that I came through. They're actually still there. You can see them. Um, there's like that little doorway that the Peruvians still stand in and do rituals at. They know it's a portal.
Mhm.
I came through there. I had contact with the ancient Peruvian people. I remember the Spanish invasion and just the horrid things that happened to these people, but I gave them that information of the knowledge of how to build and how to make it a power center, and the knowledge of life and love and nourishment and all of those things. I remember that life very well. So I'm very connected to Peru. So I totally want to hear like all about Peru. What happened in Peru?
Oh, Peru. Yeah, Peru was amazing. We just, right away when I got to Peru and was traveling to the location to the Sacred Valley, I did see um, like a celestial being appeared to me.
Hmm.
And so they made aware that they were there, like,
Yeah.
the ETs, whatever you want to call them. So I was kind of excited about that. Um, Also, I did, honestly, when I got there, me and my friend, we had to sleep a lot. Like all of a sudden we could tell that we had a vibration coming in, and it was like the sound which put us to sleep. Like we had to rest a lot, and it was just like
Yeah,
constantly ringing, ringing, ringing. I'm like, what's going on? And I felt like we were being prepared, like our body was shifting.
yeah,
And we ended up doing what would you call that? Oh, what do they call that when you, oh, I'm thinking of the name. It's a ceremony. It's the Pachamama drink, not ayahuasca, but
yeah.
um it's like a San Pedro, but there's another name for it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The
Okay.
name's not coming to
The
me.
name is not coming to me. I don't know
Yeah,
why I'm blank. But yeah, we ended up doing like a little ceremony with that, and we really connected to the land. Like I could see all the ancient people from that time. Um, and that's when I started getting the codes, like the downloads of the codes and stuff. And then I knew that we were gonna hike up to the Inca Trail, and I felt like when we were going through the Inca, like time kind of stopped. It was
yeah,
pretty amazing. And another lady from our group, she's like, "Do you feel that? Do you see that?" It was just like kind of like a time warp,
yeah.
which was really amazing too. And that's just when I knew I had to go to Egypt right up in there in that time
For
period.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
after that.
and you've been to Egypt a few times doing
I,
stuff
I did
there.
one. I went there in February of 2022 with the Matthias event. That
Okay.
was my first time that I went to an event or
And
went to Egypt.
and you guys at that time you went into the Great Pyramid, is that right?
Yes.
What were you doing there at that time?
At that time, I was fairly new at that time. And so when I showed up there, I just knew I had a code word or a code letters. And I presented myself like I represent a letter, which was the BH, which was like, um, it was like an inheritance code or um, somebody who transcends time and space.
Hmm.
And so we were just receiving codes and giving codes. Like we had to give out codes to the universe, basically,
Yeah.
through that pyramid.
And for anybody that's still listening, like, huh, what you guys saying?
I
Like,
know. I'm like
like
trying to explain the
when we're
best way.
talking about codes, it's something within you. You are being communicated with universal beings, is what I call them. Like people have different
Universal.
terms, but
Interdimensionals.
yeah, interdimensionals. So you're receiving this information, and it's actually making you and your body go through the ascension process, and it's a lot of learning, it's a lot of knowledge, and it's taking you to higher places and higher dimensions, which is really hard for me because then I don't want to come back to this 3D of Earth. It's really hard for me to want to come back to this 3D of Earth because it's just so chaotic. And you know me really well. I'm a
Mhm.
very strong empath, so like all of this like chaos and fighting and war and the things like really affect me and make me just want to hide, and it makes me cry, and I can feel the pain of the earth from it. So like that's, and when I was out on the doing this with the salt flats, like sending the salt down through the earth, just like you, like the universal being showed up.
Mhm.
I could see crafts above me and beings coming through and communicating with me. I actually invited the Shoshone tribes, and um, there's another tribe that was out there too, but the Shoshone is a little bit more known. But in any native peoples, when I do my work, I always bring them forward because that was their land to begin with. So whoever's land that I'm on, I want to respect that. Like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help restore this land to what it should be. So I always work within native peoples, not, and these are living native peoples. If they want to come too, then they're always invited. But I'm talking about people that ancient native peoples. So yeah, when we're talking about codes, this is like communication between you and the universe. And this is like the whole crazy ascension process. And I just did a podcast about ascension, and it can get really crazy. Like, it can make you, because your body is shifting, your mind is shifting. So it can start to make you feel ill at times because your body's like getting rid of things that it doesn't want anymore. The people you want to hang out with changes, like all of crazy, crazy things start to happen when you go through this. What's happened to you through it?
Yeah, it's like your body's getting rid of old programming.
Hmm.
Like all of a sudden, the things that you normally thought that was you, that you liked, start to change.
Yeah,
Because, I used to love to have alcohol, and all of a sudden, when I like went through this process of waking up, I can't drink anymore. Like my body says no.
yeah.
Like just things, food changes. Um, yeah, people, different groups of people, you start changing, but mostly it's programming. Like I went through a lot of I call it program extracting when I was in Argentina, and I really felt that something had come in and just like was pulling out programs and programs, and
Yeah,
I ended up sleeping a lot, and
that happens
I
too. You can get really, really tired and you just need to sleep because your body is like going through incredibly amounts of adjustments and you're just like, okay, oh, I'm tired. Yeah, that
Mhm. And
happens.
it's like sometimes also patterns will like flash through your head, different patterns, and you will. It's a very strange process, but in the end, it's worth it
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
rid of all that.
it is. And like everything, I mean, I still listen to metal music. I was always like a metalhead growing up, but it's, I used to always go to concerts with my one bestie friend, and I can't go to concerts anymore because I can't stand that energy. Um, so the things that I like, I'm always into history and watching documentaries anyway, because I'm a total history nerd, but like things that I want to watch on TV, I cannot watch things with violence. I don't want anything to do with it. Like like everything about you will start to shift and change. And so that's the main thing that I try to like instill in people's minds. Like, you are going to change, and even the people that you want to have around you is going to change.
Mhm.
So you got to like buck up and like put your big girl panties on and just be able to like tell people like, this isn't going to work anymore, you know.
Well, even your job,
Yeah.
that's like a big thing that people have to let go is sometimes you just cannot do the same thing,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it forces you to pick a different career,
Yeah.
something more, I guess something more universal, maybe something more that helps the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I have one guy that, and I don't ever talk in depth about the people I do readings for unless they want me to, and then I'll put it on my YouTube channel. But
mhm,
his job, like, he's just starting to go through this awakening process, and in his job, he's making these kinds of foods that are just not good for you. So it's like lunch meat, like that kind of stuff, and
mhm.
it's processed food. It's very bad for your body. Like, I'm sorry folks, but eating sandwiches is not good for you. See, it's just not. It's not real meat. It's processed and pulled apart and colors injected into it and antibiotics and whatever the heck else they do with it. I don't know. But he's starting to feel like that dread of going to his job every day now.
Mhm.
since I did his Akashic records, and he's like, I gotta get out of this job, like, and he can feel that he's not doing something that is good for the planet, and so it's really starting to bother him about his job. So yeah, that those things will change too. So ascension is a crazy thing. So
Yes, it is.
between me and you and Mateus, which I've never met him. I've obviously seen him on the Gaia network and listened to everything that he talks about and says. Um, but I think he does the same thing in just his own way of healing the earth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, all of and there's there's certain people where I do their Akashic records and either it's not they're not ready for the knowledge yet of what they're supposed to be doing on the earth,
Mhm.
but there's some people that are very, very clear. Like I got one a few weeks ago that because I'm here to heal the earth and the land because I was a part of making this planet. And I've been told I'm Mother Earth through like a lot for many, many years. And it took me
Mhm.
a very long time to figure that out. Like, what the crap you talking about a Mother Earth? Like, what the. And, but she is here to heal the ecosystems. Like,
Mhm.
she has a lot of knowledge about plants. She's an herbalist, but she has deep, deep knowledge about plants and ecosystems. So that's like her mission on life, in this life. I'll
Yeah,
say
it's like each of us have a certain type of mission or represent like a certain part of the planet. Like when I went through my awakening and I was shown that I was the universe,
yeah.
once, I mean, you can understand it through maybe biologically,
Mhm.
but when you're actually shown it is a different situation. Like, th things start happening when I
Yeah.
was going through that process of seeing it. But you will automatically feel the need to take care of your own body since we represent
Yeah.
the earth or the universe, however it's shown to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I can't even eat like cookies anymore unless I make them myself and I know it's like all just like make some pumpkin cookies or something that's not full of a lot of like sugar and nastiness. But like even like that, I can't eat that anymore because my body will just be like, mm-mm, no,
mm.
not having it. Yeah.
No,
So
well, it makes you look at it a lot different because you just think of yourself as being like, let's take some alcohol, let's take this. But when you actually see that you're the universe,
mhm,
as being like, oh, shoot, like I got to
yeah,
take care of myself. Like we got to take care of the planet. I am the planet.
yeah,
And so then you start really watching what you're putting into your system.
yeah,
And it comes like that automatically when you're going through the process or the ascension process.
yeah, definitely. And it it's it's really hard for me not to offend like religious people, which they don't really follow me anyway because I just piss them off. But it, there was not like one dude called God that created all of these things in the universe and the earth. It was a collective of a whole bunch of different entities. And I try to explain it to people like, think of it as earth right now. Like, we need things, people have to make those things. There are certain people that are skilled at different kinds of jobs to make that the world function the way that it is functioning. It's not a really good function right now, but like different people have different skills, and it's the same way with the universe. The things that I did to bring life to earth and form this planet were very specific to me, and the things that you do are very specific to you. The things, so everybody has a different job and a different role to play because nobody's the same. So I just, everybody out there, I'll get hate comments and that's all right, but put your religious hate comments out there. But it was not just one dude that created everything. And yeah, we'll just leave that there. I
No,
like
we just have like a higher source as being a light energy, and from that light energy, came a whole bunch of beautiful people, entities, interdimensional beings, whatever you want to call them, to
Yeah.
create. And I also believe like the new children. I say the new children because I feel
The
like they're
new
coming in.
children. Yes. Let's talk
They're
about
coming in with
them.
all the light. They haven't like rotated all lifetimes on this planet. So they have new energy codes, they have new ideas to save the
Hmm.
planet. And that
Yeah.
we that been here ancient people for a long time, we've been programmed. So it's time that we let the new generations kind of lead a little bit. I mean, we're
Yeah.
there to be the back support, hold them up, but the new children have the new
Yeah.
ways to save
Yeah.
the planet that
You
we
can
need to
even
listen to.
you can even see, well, at least I can, um, new babies that are being born. I can
Mhm.
see the difference in their appearance versus like babies, especially in my generation. I'm a Gen Xer. I can see the difference in their appearance. I can see the difference in their eyes. I can feel that light coming out of them. It's like already in them. So, like, I call it like I had to go through a descension process in order to be able to live here. And then I lived, a few different lives on Earth, and they were all really shitty. But because I came from Andromeda Galaxy and, bounced around different places in the universe, and there's been wars in the universe and, bad things that happen there. There's always positive and negative and different things. But like these new babies that are being born, it's literally like a universal being right there, right there. Like they didn't have to descend. They're just like there and they
Yes.
have all the knowledge. Yeah. They're great and they're so beautiful. Like you could oh, I can't I don't even I'm an artist and I can't even put it into words because I just like I can see it in them and they just glow and it's just like it's really magical to see them.
Which also somebody asked me like, well, then are we not important? But we are. We also are universal beings, but we
Mhm.
have been we're on top of programs.
Mhm.
And so as soon as our programs are out, we can be just like them as being light beings,
Yeah.
with but
Yeah.
because we've rotated and learned things that weren't right or taught things,
Yeah. So we have to
um,
deprogram those
yeah,
things. Yeah.
deprogram with all
Yeah. And
the knowledge that isn't truth, I guess.
yeah.
You call it the disclosures coming out.
Mm. So when did
Uh,
you know that like you were just different? Um, there's these kinds of things that you needed to start doing, that you're a universal being. Like when did you kind of start getting this knowledge?
Well, as a child, I already knew that I was something different.
Mhm.
And I spent a lot of time alone outside, and I always knew things before my time as
Yeah.
being a child. But then, after being here and feeling like, well, I'm alone, maybe this is just how it is. You kind of get desensitized. And
Yeah.
so I was just trying to make it through life. And I worked with animals, which was something that I could do that felt good, as I had a dog grooming shop for many years. And so I didn't have to really deal with the public people all the time. So I think I was in a pretty good safe zone for a while. And then um all of a sudden is when I don't know, there was like a time shift. I think I turned 44. And I don't know if that's like a universal kind of code in me. And then I started awakening up. I started seeing things. I started to feel that I had to travel. Um, there was just a big shift
Yeah.
at, at that age.
I I've always, even as a kid, I always said that I'm an alien. Like I've never felt like a human, even though I'm in a bio body of a human right now, but I've never it, anything that my parents taught me or things that I saw in the world, like the way that, the masses kind of say that things should be. Even as a child, I was just like, no, that's not right. Like, and I just had my own thought process and like kind of like you. I mean, I had my cousins that I played with when
Mhm.
I was young, but I didn't have a I don't actually remember having any friends as a child if I really think about it. Like I didn't have sleepovers, I didn't have any of that. I played by myself all the time and like I said unless it was my cousins. So everybody I knew and I could sense it around me that people had some kind of aversion to me and
Mhm.
and of course, as a kid, you think there's something wrong, but
Mhm.
as you
Yes.
grow up, then you're like, no, no, I'm in the right, and you you guys need to check yourselves, right? But yeah, and it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. But so I always felt that too, and that aloneness, and but I'm a very strong empath too, so I spend a lot of time alone anyway. But that's just what we
Well, I always,
empaths have to do.
I'm right there with you. I always thought there was something wrong with me. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Like I'm feeling all the time. I didn't really know what empath was until later, like because I just was never taught. I just
Yeah,
thought there was something wrong with me. Um, but now that I'm learning a lot, things started making sense. I'm like, oh, that's why I do that. Oh, that's why
yeah.
I'm this way. Oh, that's why I'm connected with animals
Yeah,
so much.
and
And
people need to also understand if you're an empath, it's not just people that you feel because I feel everybody's everything, but you feel the earth, you feel the nature, you feel the animals. Like I literally go out and hug trees and like
Mhm.
they sing to me. I can hear what they're saying. I'm talking to them. So
Mhm.
like that is part of being an empath too. So it's
Well, that was like when we were feeling the earthquakes there in Utah. Like, you would
yeah,
text me, I would text you. I'm like, did you feel that? Like we had
yeah.
an earthquake,
I still
something's
feel
going
the little rockings
on.
going on, and I'm like,
But
okay,
nobody else seems to at the
yeah,
time. And then I was
yeah,
thinking, oh, wait a minute, I must be crazy. I
yeah,
always ask myself, I'm like, am I crazy or did I just feel that?
yeah. And this, just this, that's the part of the ascension process too. Like sometimes you do feel like you're going crazy. Like, what in the world is happening? You're just like, and you have to try to like back up. And there's been a lot of times that I've had to tell the universal beings like whoa like pump the brakes here for just a second and like let me adjust and like one thing at a time here because like I am a big energy and I know I'm a big energy and
Mhm.
and but at the same time I'm still going through that learning growing process because I'm in this life in this body so sometimes I'm like whoa hey but pump the
Well, first
brakes
of
a
all,
bit
the universal beings don't understand what it's like to be down here. And so
yeah
they see it from a different realm and they
yeah
think, oh, she can do this, she can do that. And you're like, no, wait, I'm here in the matter. Like I'm
yeah
here on this planet. So calm down.
yeah
Like there's stuff that I gotta do first.
yeah and it's like I have to have those conversations with them about it's like I didn't invent this monetary system. I freaking hate it, but I have to participate in it because I have to live in this life. So you guys have to give me time to like make money and do the things that humans find necessary because I'm here in this life because those things don't happen in the universe.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of times that and they totally listen to you and anything that doesn't respect your wishes is obviously doesn't have your best interest at heart. But yeah. Has there been like anything negative that you've encountered like being wise, spiritual wise that you've had to deal with, face with, get rid of, anything like that?
Um, Mostly my own shadows. Like when I was in Egypt, I had to face a lot of my own stuff. It's being old programming.
Mhm.
And so I guess I wouldn't call it negative. It's just the fears that I have, the fear of me speaking, or speaking my truth. I think through lifetimes I've been, what do you call it? Suppressed and
Yeah.
always worried about what somebody will think of me, if they're gonna think I'm crazy. I had to go through all these different things, and to actually face it and be able to tell my story, to actually speak what's coming through
Hmm.
and not worried about what people are gonna say. Like I kept like
Yeah.
I kept meeting people in Egypt, like these beautiful souls. They would just show up and it was so random. But I always had like some kind of a message to say, like I had to express myself, like Cairo was coming through, but I had to speak it to these people. And
Hmm.
I don't know if necessarily the message was for them or was for my soul or for Cairo, whatever it was. But to get over the fact that it's kind of embarrassing just to
Yeah.
be speaking emotionally or
Yeah.
telling somebody that that they're loved and cared for and they're so worthy.
Yeah.
And but I did it. I did it. And
Yeah.
so it was like breaking through the fear.
Yeah.
And so it was just a learning process for me. So that was basically my negative side, was like wanting to hide and maybe I shouldn't say this or maybe
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that.
I was
So,
I was told that I was a couple months ago. I was just out taking my dogs for a hike up in the mountains and just contemplating the business that I run because I do readings for people and then obviously do the work I have to do for the earth and whatever happens. And but um like this voice came through and it was like, you're so much bigger than just doing readings for people. And I'm like,
mhm.
I know that, but I'm like trying to get there, so I'm like, how do I get there? And it's, for me it was more like, I'm not a control freak in a bad way. Like I don't tell other people how to live their lives in that kind of control freak, but when it comes to me and my environment and the things that go on, I am a control freak. So I had to learn to let go of that control and I'm still learning it. It's very hard for me. I'm very impatient. I'm like, what the crap? Like, it's like, and so that is still my learning process, is
Um,
letting go of control and just letting things flow. And that obviously comes from not just this lifetime on earth but many lifetimes on earth. I have massive trust issues when it comes to other people.
mhm,
With animals, I will pick animals over people any day of the week. Like, so as far as people go, like we're very close, and like the people that I actually let in my life, like they've earned it, and I
mhm,
know that I can trust them. But it takes time for me. I don't just have that. So I don't have that letting go of control even mastered to this day, because I still have trust issues. And I kind of put that out into the universe too, which they've given me no reason not to trust them, but I'm still like, what the crap,
like
and why isn't this happening, and those kinds of things. So yeah, everybody has their own struggles with,
shadows.
yeah,
I call it
patterns, the shadows. Yeah.
the shadows that we inherit somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Shadows. I like that. I like that
Yeah.
term.
Yeah, the shadows. I mean, letting them go, because even when I got to Egypt, it was like, what am I supposed to do here? Like, it's a different culture, different language. I was really good in Peru because I could speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, I could speak Spanish, and where I go, I felt comfortable. But when you go to a country where you don't even know the culture, you don't know the language,
Yeah.
everything is just new, and then try to do whatever you need to do there, it's a big thing. It's a big thing,
Yeah.
but It's
Do
taught
you
me a
think
lot.
it's harder for a woman to try to do that than it is for a man? Just like Earth as a culture and whole?
Um, no, I don't know. That's a good question. Um, I feel like in Egypt, it's probably would be easier if you were a man going and doing
Yeah,
because, you have less judgment. There, I just tried to hold respect as being like, in different places, I made sure I was covered and my hair was covered, when I went to certain places, just because I just want to honor their culture
yeah,
and everything. But Cairo really treated me good. I was really surprised. Like it did take care of me. All the people that came in was perfect. Like all the people that came in to look after me and show me different places and get me to where I needed to go
hmm
worked out perfectly. Like I was totally guided. Like it couldn't have went any better than what it
yeah.
did. So I'm
And
pretty happy about that.
with all of the work, like not just us that we do, and like anybody that you know and anybody that I know that has a part in healing this earth and raising the vibrations and getting rid of all this nastiness
Mhm.
that's here. Um, like, and there's a lot of planetary shifts going on. There's going to be a complete planetary alignment coming up. Um, what is your perspective on how this is going to affect the earth and the people?
Um, I think we're just elevating. Like I feel like each person is doing their own work and it's like when I do my work, I feel like I heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. And so it's kind of just like we're all connected. And so I think it clears bloodlines, different bloodlines from different people
Yeah,
through generation. And I think with everyone doing work and clearing all the bloodlines, I feel like the planet, or I guess you'd say the bloodline of the planet, because we're cells here on the
yeah,
planet. So when we heal ourselves, we're here healing the planet. It helps evolve the planet. So I feel like we'll be changing vibration. I don't think we're going to have like a big, huge, like devastation like they had back in the day when we had like the ice age or the flood.
yeah,
But I just feel like we'll be moving a shift into a more evolved culture,
yeah.
a more evolved state.
And that's the, well, I'm a little bit worried and tense about the current political shenanigans going on right now, but I'm not going to get into political talk. But I remember very vividly, like I was part of cutting off that knowledge from the Atlantean system and taking
Mhm.
it away because it was being abused. And then the
Mhm.
earth kind of went into like, I call it this darkness state,
Like
with
the Dark Ages. You
yeah,
probably call
yeah,
it the Dark Age. Because
yeah,
I was part of Atlantis too with the knowledge. And I think that's why I'm here on this planet now is to bring that knowledge
yeah,
back.
to bring it back. Exactly.
Mhm.
So that's
To bring,
why, like, part of my job is to link all the ley lines and heal the earth and bring forth all of those ancient people. And, like, we're here and we need to do this again. And I very much get the message from the universal beings that they don't want that darkness to happen again. They very
Mhm.
much want Earth to survive. They want that knowledge to be restored. And
Mhm.
instead of, like, obviously humans are still doing very bad things to the environment, to the planet, and whatever they do. But instead of like how before I was a part of like cutting off that knowledge and just taking it, like they don't want it to happen like that again. So that's kind of the message that I get from them. Do you get the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they don't want us to misuse the power.
Yeah, they
So a
definitely don't
lot
want
of
us to misuse. Yeah,
some people think that Atlantis is like a location,
no,
and I think uh it's
it's a
more of the net.
system.
the system
Yeah.
and the knowledge of people. And so there's certain people that hold this knowledge. And so it's just about applying the knowledge to do good instead of using it to do bad. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, there's still people that are still programmed or still haven't cleared out their energy,
Hmm.
which so they're just still doing bad things.
Yeah.
But if we're all working as a team together,
Yeah.
um, we'll clear that out and go into like a more calming future, I guess I want to say.
Yeah.
Hopeful, calming
Yeah.
future.
I was,
I'm sure I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, but
yeah, we do definitely. When I was
this is my
talking
hopeful thinking.
to my one friend that I was telling you, she's here to heal the ecosystems. Um,
Mhm.
because I'm such a history nerd and all of that, and we live in such a greed system that and just very dirty and corrupt government systems, not just our own, but all over the world. This is happening. Um, I'm like, that has to be torn down in
Yeah, because
order.
that's all in us. It's like
Yeah,
in our DNA to be that. So there's people on the planet, I can say, including myself, that we have all these little bit of greed or control that's in us until we can like bring that to the surface and heal ourselves from that pattern. The whole planet won't be healed from that. We'll just be keep manifesting greed and anger because
yeah,
it's our own self.
yeah,
And so we need to bring that
yeah.
up.
And
Same as like the oceans with the pollution and everything. That's because we're polluting our body. When we
yeah,
pollute our body, the ocean is never going to get unpolluted because we're the universe. So it's like, okay, as soon as everybody starts like focusing on our own health, then the planet in a whole
yeah,
can get healthy.
yeah. And people they don't, well, they don't recognize a lot of things within themselves because they just haven't gotten to that point yet. But like, people don't realize just the power of one person being in a harmonious state and just sending out those just love bubble vibes and just sending that out just in general meditation or whatever you do. You can be a single person, and that helps so
Mhm.
much. So it doesn't have to be like this massive group of people doing all of these things. It can come from one individual too.
No, the fact that you can just do it for yourself, even when you take a bath and just tell your body that you love it, because since you're part of this earth, and the matter. So the first step is just loving yourself. Like when you wake up in the morning, talk to your water and tell the water that you love it so that when it goes into your body, it sends the love frequency in there to your cells.
Yeah.
Or, when you put on um I should say healthy lotion, not just any lotion, but tell your body to that you love it and care for it, ask it what it needs. Like if
Yeah.
you're thirsty, don't put it off. Don't say, "Oh,
Right.
I'll drink water later. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
do this." Like drink your water, eat when you're hungry, go to the bathroom, like care for it
Yeah.
because technically you're caring for the whole planet.
Yeah. You are.
And so just like small steps like that make a big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah. They do. Like for you, it's water. For me, it's air because I'm very much an air sign. I'm a Libra, and that is very cleansing to me. If I just go outside and stand it, like the bigger the wind, the more comfortable I am. Like everybody else is running inside through their house, and I'm just like out there in the windstorm, like having a ball. So air is very cleansing to me. So not
Mhm.
so much a water
Air, winds,
person.
fire,
Yeah,
whatever your
whatever it is.
sign is or whatever makes you happy.
Yeah,
But just that small step, just loving yourself
yeah.
first.
That's the most important thing. You need to know yourself, you need to love yourself because you can't help yourself or the planet or anybody else on this planet, including your own kids or whoever it is, if you don't have that self love for yourself first.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
that's like the most important thing that people need to learn. And it breaks my heart when I see people that just have, and I went through this with my own mom. She had no sense of her own self at all anymore by the time it was time for her to pass on. um, and so that was very hard for me to go through, and it just breaks my heart when I see people that have very low self-esteem and don't have a sense of themselves, and or just they don't even know how to try to find themselves because
Mhm.
for whatever situation is happening in their life. That really breaks my heart. So
Yeah, I'm so
definitely,
disconnected,
yeah, very disconnected.
which I can understand that because I went through that phase
Yeah,
before.
I
So
did too.
I have sympathy for those
Yeah,
people.
it took me until my 30s. I was kind of starting to awaken in that time period, but still like in that, like, let's party and let's do this and do human things that
Yes, we all
was
have to go through
doing.
that part.
Yeah, and then in my 40s is when I really started to awaken. And then it was just like this huge, and then it just became this huge download of everything that I can do and every place that I've lived in the universe and the lives that I've lived and all of that. And now I'm 51, and of course I'm still learning things all the time
Mhm.
about
Yeah,
myself.
no, it's a constant learning thing. Like
Yeah,
when I started even seeing, also, I'm the same, like seeing my past lives, and that's how I ended up getting involved with past life therapies. Like I just start, since I'm just so connected with the past lives that now I feel like that I want to help people with their past lives, which
yeah,
also leads to Akashic reading and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah. There's some,
But
like, I've had my Akashic records read by some other people. Um, and well, everybody's got their own method of doing things, but
mhm,
um, they just pretty much took me through like my universal lives, which I already know most of them, but they didn't even get into my past lives, which was really weird to me because I always pick up on people's past lives on Earth when I do Akashic
mhm.
Records readings. So,
Well, sometimes it's just that what doesn't benefit you. Like I've noticed when I do past life therapy for somebody, and sometimes they're like, "But I didn't hear about this life." I'm like, "Well, because it's not beneficial. Like it's not helping you in this life, so it doesn't really
yeah,
matter who
yeah,
you were or what you did
yeah,
because it's not helping you in this lifetime." So
yeah,
then they choose not to bring that in. Because
yeah,
why have more information that's just going to confuse you more?
yeah. I actually had one person, I don't know if I ever told you this. It was when I was first starting to get into reading Akashic records and getting certified in it, and my my teacher was a guy in India. He was so cool. I love that guy. But it was when I was first starting it, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have somebody read mine just to, like, get a concept of the flow and how this might go or whatever. But the first person that I contacted, she refused to read my Akashic records. It was like she was terrified of me, which of course made me concerned. I'm like, what the hell is going to happen here? Like, what the. But then I just started reading my own, of course, after I got certified. And I still have a book where every new piece of information, I write it down. And now my parents are both passed on now. So I want to start getting their story and our story together because I
Mhm.
I ripped time and space to be here at this point in time to help the earth. So there's a big story there, and my mom obviously had to be a massive energy just like I am in order to be able to carry me into this
Mhm.
world. So I want to get into their stories now too, which would be really cool, but I just haven't done that yet. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done that either. I knew that my parents were not of this planet. And that's how I ended up finding out that, that I came from. I had lifetimes on other planets, and I started seeing my lives out there, um, but I haven't really got into detail about where they're from.
Yeah.
Like I just know that my last incarnation that I was from Ceres, or the planet Ceres,
Yeah.
and I did have a lifetime in Andromedan though, also. So
The
it's probably how I know
galaxy,
you.
the galaxy or star system? Because I'm from galaxy.
Oh, I was gonna say just star system from that
Okay.
area.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but
Like yeah, and you find as you go through this the people like us and you meet and then how I've met these other people like you know them from these other lifetimes and it just clicks. It's like, dude, I swear I've known you for like 10,000 years and you just feel it and it's just there. Yeah, it's crazy. I love that part of like past lives that comes together like that. That's really cool.
I love past lives. That's basically why I do past life healing because I just love it. I love that information, that knowledge.
Yeah. Have you ever had
But yeah,
like I've had clients that I've had to just finally just turn away because they're not doing anything with the information download that I've gotten for them and they're still just doing all these negative things and not breaking out of their habits or whatever. Have you had anybody like that?
I give them the information that their higher self wanted, and then I just have to give them the best of luck. And they can choose what they want to do with
Well,
that
yeah,
information.
it's their
Now,
choice.
if I feel that, you know, that maybe it's not beneficial, I won't take them back. I just feel like, oh, they were sent to me for a reason because, if they come to me, then I help them. But
Yeah,
if I feel like, there's something afterwards negative, then I just don't do another reading.
yeah,
They can choose to move on, or I say, oh, maybe you need to go see somebody else, a different method.
yeah.
Because sometimes we all have different methods of healing methods. So,
That's
but
true.
I give it with just what I know and how I feel. And so maybe they just need another perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm like mad or angry at the person or anything like
Mhm.
that. It's just like this is all we can do together here. So it's like it's pointless for you to keep coming to see me. Yeah, kind of thing. But yeah,
But yeah,
this
well,
was
this was great.
this was
I'm so
great.
glad.
So
So
I
glad
do
that you had me.
podcasts all the time, and both of us have so many experiences and things that we can talk about. So like feel
Well, we'll have to do
free
another one.
to like message me and be like, "Girl, I want to talk about this." So, like, let's just
Okay.
do it because this is so fun and it's an easy way to get information out to the masses and help them understand more about this process and what we're doing and how they can find what they're supposed to be doing and just help the earth all around and help the universe all around as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
was
for sure.
awesome.
So, well, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for coming. I appreciate it so, so much. I'm gonna post this on my YouTube channel. Everybody,
Okay.
you need to like and subscribe because I upload new podcasts all the time. That way you'll know when they happen. And everybody say thank you, Marilee. Thank you for coming.
Thank
And
you.
have a good rest of everybody's
Oh,
day.
okay, we'll see you later.
See you later. Can't get my mouse to work. There it goes.